Tennessee Titans fans, first of all, happy Memorial Day. I want to say thank you to everyone who has paid such a great price for our freedom and for our country here in the United States. Today, I want to talk to you about an article from A to Z Sports that Easton Freeze posted a couple of days ago as of this recording, where he talked about the leadership on the Tennessee Titans team, the leadership in the locker room, the culture that was and the culture that they are trying to usher in now. And a lot of talk in this article, which is linked below in the video description. I'm not going to just read the article to you. I want you to go read it. But a lot of interesting discussion about how things were at the end of the Mike Vrabel era, where we were in a situation in Nashville where a lot of the player leaders had gone. There was no more Tannehill. There was no more A.J. Brown. There was no more Kevin Byard. Danico Autry was leaving. Some of those veteran players, Ben Jones, Taylor Lewan, some of those players that the Titans really leaned on for leadership and culture in those really good years, they were gone. And a lot of the leadership fell on Mike Vrabel. He was kind of single-handedly having to be the leader. And yes, he has the type of personality where he can do that. But, as the article notes, the best teams in the NFL, the best organizations in the NFL often have players. They have players in the locker room that can lead. They have players that can, take the bull by the horns. Look at the Eagles last year. They won the Super Bowl. They've got leaders all over that team. And so the Titans recognize a problem that I mentioned on this podcast and on this channel so many times last season. Last year, that 3-14 campaign the Titans went on, there were no leaders. There was no culture. There was no personality on this team. Yes, Jeffrey Simmons was there. Yes, Harold Landry was there. You had a couple of guys, Amani Hooker, who were, the veteran leaders of the team, but the Amani Hookers and the Harold Landrys especially, quieter guys, not outspoken like a Taylor Lewan or a Ben Jones. Just not those guys who seem to have the personality that's going to just rally the troops. Big Jeff maybe, but I think Big Jeff, I think he got a little angry last season because things were going so badly. And so I think there was just no direction in terms of leadership and culture on this team. So now you look at what the Titans have done this offseason so far. First of all, the players they picked up in free agency. Kevin Zeitler, there's a veteran coming in to play right guard that can hopefully give you some leadership. You've got Dan Moore. You're paying him a lot to come in and play left tackle. Dan Moore, he's been in the league a little while now, so hopefully you can get some veteran leadership there. But Van Jefferson, there's a veteran player coming in to play wide receiver. Tyler Lockett, there's a veteran player who's already showing leadership skills when guys get drafted and he's immediately tweeting at them and welcoming them to the squad. All over the team, whether it's Cody Barton or Xavier Woods at safety, they have signed veteran players with experience, high character guys who can come in and start to lay the groundwork for a culture in this Tennessee Titans locker room and at the facility and everything. And then you look at who they drafted. Obviously, with Cam Ward, he brings a lot to the table in terms of what he does on the field for sure, but you need his swagger. You need Cam Ward's personality. You need that confidence. You're already hearing guys like Calvin Ridley who are saying, this dude don't mess around. This dude, Cam Ward, he comes in to work. He comes in to, he's on time. He's early every day. And if you're not early, he's going to let you know you need to be early. I like to hear that because the Titans need some swagger. The Titans need some aura. And Cam Ward hopefully is going to bring that. Of course, it's all going to come down to how he plays on the field because you can't really be that good of a leader if you're not backing it up with your play. And that's been another problem with the Tennessee Titans leadership as well, because a bunch of the guys aren't playing well. So it's like, how can you possibly be a leader if you're not even backing it up on the field? So Cam Ward, you like what you see so far, but really the rest of the draft class, up and down, you look at guys like Femi Oladejo, you look at guys like Gunnar Helm and what we've seen from them. Yeah, they're rookies coming in, but, these are character guys. These are leaders. These are guys that they didn't just draft because of what they do on the field, but also because of what they bring to the table off the field. I see Femi Oladejo, their second-round edge rusher. I see clips of him acting like he's a veteran out there, motivating guys, telling guys, don't walk on my field. Okay, now we're getting some guys in here who hopefully can bring some swagger to this organization, some guys who can bring some confidence and some aura to this organization and create a culture. The culture that we had when we look back on those good years where we were consistently making the playoffs, winning the division, made that run to the AFC title game. I mentioned some of those guys earlier. Kevin Byard, Taylor Lewan. I remember DeMarco Murray when he was in. I know he was there for a little bit at the beginning. He didn't stay for the Vrabel era, but he was a big part of incorporating some culture. And I hope that Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley and some of those guys, Tyler Lockett, they can do that as well. But I think about Delaney Walker. I think about, you bring in that class with Big Jeff and A.J. Brown, the one good class that John Robinson drafted. That culture was enough to help the Titans get to the AFC title game. That culture was enough to help the Titans grab the number 1 seed in 2021, despite the fact that they were injured and they were banged up all the time. People talk a lot about Vrabel, and they act like, you can read the article, people act like, oh, Vrabel was the one who led them there. But no, during those years when things were so good, things were player-led. There was leadership in the locker room. So Vrabel was the coach, yes. He was a leader, yes. But when you had Tannehill and you had Henry and you had AJ and you had those other guys I already named, I don't want to just list them again, but Jarrell Casey, Danico Autry, when you had those guys who were able to provide culture and leadership, is it any wonder that those are some of the best Titans teams that we've seen in a long time? So what the Titans need to really zero in on, and again, you can read the article from A to Z Sports and Easton Freeze, it's in the video description below. What they've got to zero in on here, yeah, you want to be as good as possible. You want to win as many games as possible in 2025. You want Cam Ward to prove that he's headed in the right direction. But also, no matter how many games you win, you've got to establish a culture. You've got to establish what kind of locker room and what kind of team this is going to be. And this draft class, but also I'm looking to guys like Peter Skoronski. I'm looking to guys like J.C. Latham. Those are first-round picks. I'm looking at some of those guys. I'm looking at Jarvis Brownlee. I saw some things from him last year. He's got some swagger. He's got some get after it about him. So I'm hoping that guys like that as well. I'm not just relying on the draft class coming in or the free agents coming in. There's some guys that are already there. There are some veterans already there, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard. There are some veterans already there who are going to have to step up and provide some leadership and establish a culture here. Because last season there was no culture, there was no personality. Go read the article in the video description below from A to Z Sports. It's very fascinating, and tighten up, everybody.